Hello and welcome to another Stamp with Amy K YouTube Live, and today I'm going to show you how I made a fun fold card. Believe it or not, I actually did a little fun fold for you today, which is not something that I typically do. I made it with the Around the Bend stamp set bundle. This is one that is only going to be bundled for a couple more days. The bundle pricing goes away on this card on, gosh, what day is it? Tuesday. Monday will be the last day you can get the bundle pricing on it. And I see that I'm all sorts of crazy on here. So I'm trying to adjust my camera to make sure that I'm kind of centered. So, all right. So this is the fun fold card we're going to make. It's, like I said, it's pretty simple. There was another demonstrator that I saw that made a similar one, and I will link up to her blog post in my blog post tomorrow when it goes live, so you can go take a peek at it and see what the inspiration was for this. But it's a really simple little fun fold. So hey, Pam and Marilyn and Karen. But fun folds really are not something I typically do, and if I am going to do them, I make sure they're really easy. And this one's really easy. So it's basically just, there's a little flap on this side, a little flap on this side, and it opens up into the center. So it's a really easy little fun fold. And I'll show you, and all the measurements and everything will be on my blog tomorrow, so you'll be able to take a peek at it then. So hey, Danette, thanks for joining. So let's start with this stamp set. This is actually a stamp set that's in the current annual catalog, and the catalog, not annual, mini catalog, goodness, that's what I'm trying to say. So the January to April 2023 mini catalog. This is available in a bundle, and it's available in both cling mount and photopolymer. I have the photopolymer version. The photopolymer is actually going to be carrying forward. The cling mount version is retiring, and the bundle pricing is retiring. So it's really confusing with this one. But just know that the images and the stamp set will be around. It'll just be available in photopolymer, and the dies will be available, but they won't be bundled, so you won't save the 10%. So if you want this set, which you will, just go ahead and get it now, this weekend, and then you'll save the extra cash, and then you can buy all the new catalog things next week. So, all right. All right, so Carol is here, and Amanda and Jeannie and Drew, and Judy, thanks for hopping in. I see everybody's here. Thanks for joining. All right, let me, a couple other things before we get going on here. One thing that I did use, of course, the All That dies, which I think I used this in my last video as well. I used this same die here to do a little die cutting for the sentiment. And that's all the extra stuff that I used. It was actually just that bundle, a little paper, a little stamping. I told you it was a very, very simple little fun fold card. So, that's how I roll. So, hey, Susan and Kelly, thanks for joining today as well. Couple things before we get going. The Last Chance Products retiring sale is going on now through Monday, so it's almost over, and that is on the sale, and the retiring list are for the current annual catalog, which is the 2022 to 2023 annual catalog from Stampin' Up, as well as the mini catalog, the January to April 2023 mini catalog. Some of the items are on sale. A lot of things are selling out quickly. A lot of things are gone, so get the last minute things that you want before they're gone for good. And then don't forget about the online exclusives that you will find only in the online store. So again, online exclusives are not in any catalogs. Some of the items are going to be coming back, some are not. So if you see it, it's out there available and you want it, then grab it. So, all right. Let's get going on the cards so we can get this done. I have got a panel of garden green cardstock, and it is cut to 5.5 by 11. So it's would have been, this is 8.5 by 11 is normally what it'd be. So I cut 3 inches off the edge basically. So it's 5.5 by 11, and I scored it at 3 inches, and again at 7.25 inches. So again, a little odd for the card base size, but it's 5.5 tall, 11 wide, scored at 3 inches and 7.25 inches. So pretty easy math and pretty easy as far as the card base goes. Then I took one of the dies, which was this pretty leafy die from the Around the Bend stamp set bundle. And I placed it here on the edge of this is the 3-inch score line. So this is the 7.25 over here. So I got my 3-inch score line, and I have placed it over here, and I'm just going to run it through the die cutting machine. So that's how I cut the little flap on the front, is basically just took it, trimmed off the edge, and made it a cute little fun fold. So pretty easy to do. Like I said, it's about as simple as they come for fun folds. So, all right, let me go run this through the die cutting machine. So I'll be right back in 1 second. So hopefully I won't wiggle the table too much. Oop, almost got it off the edge there. And then this is what you're left with. So just have to wiggle the paper out of there so I don't rip anything, because it's not a super delicate die cut, but it is a little intricate with those leaves in there. So that's it. So that's kind of, you know, the difficult part of the fun fold. And it's not difficult. So, all right. Next thing that I did was I took a piece. This is from the Fresh as a Daisy Designer Series paper, which will be in the upcoming annual catalog, and it will be available starting on Tuesday, May 2nd. Again, panel from that Designer Series paper pack, and if I've cut everything correctly, it should fit on here. So this is about 3 3/4 of an inch wide by about 5.5 tall. The only thing with this fun fold that you want to be a little aware of is if you have paper that's directional, and this one is kind of, I mean, it'd look a little upside down if you put it on there like that. So just make sure that when you fold your card shut, that it's going to be the right way around. So you don't want your paper upside down in there if it's very directional paper. All right, so I'm going to take this and we are going to adhere it with a little bit of multi-purpose liquid glue this is where the 7 1/4 score line is at. So this is about 3 3/4 wide. And again, just taking a little liquid glue, putting it on there. And we'll go ahead and adhere it together. Hopefully get it stuck on there straight and along the score line. Yep, oop, there we go. All right, I think we got it that time. And that's it for basically the card front. We're going to do a little more decorating on it, but nothing too complex on there. And I see I'm hanging over a little bit here, so I think I'm going to scooch it just a hair back. All right, I think we're good now. On the inside of the card, I actually just have a piece of 4 inches by 5 1/4. Piece of basic white cardstock, and we're going to stick that on the inside. Just going to do a little quick stamping on that before we start assembling the card front. So I've got garden green ink, and again, this is from the Around the Bend stamp set, and we're just going to ink up the little leaf, the corner leaf image, and we're going to stamp it in one corner, and then I will turn it and then stamp it in the other corner. And it doesn't really matter which corner you stamp this in, whichever one you want to, just stamp it opposite. And it can go in the card either way. So all good. If you put it on this side, that's just fine too. So, oh, thanks so much, Drew. I appreciate that. The colors come straight out of the Designer Series paper pack, which I love. That Stampin' Up! Kind of gives us that extra little color help, because sometimes I look at colors and I'm like, does it really go together? And then they put it in a designer paper pack and I'm like, oh yeah, it does. It's good. So, all right, so let me stick this on the inside of the card base. Again, just using a little Stampin' Seal to stick that together. So that's the inside of the card, nothing too complex in there. And then I'm going to take this and we'll fold it over and do a really good crease here with the bone folder. And then we'll fold the other one over and do another really good crease with the bone folder. And that's really it for the card base. So now we have all that we have left is the decorating. So super simple, just a little quick die cut along the edge, a little bit of designer paper, and the card front is basically done. So, all right, next up, I've got a piece of crushed curry cardstock, because that is the yellow color. Well, lemon lolly is in here too, and can you even believe I pulled out crushed curry instead of lemon lolly? I had lemon lolly in my hand and I made myself put it down because I know that you've seen a lot of that color from me. So, all right, Pebbled Path, which is one of the new in colors from Stampin' Up!, and this will also be available to order beginning on May 2nd. And just going to stamp it in Pebbled Path ink on the crushed curry cardstock. All right, and that's the sentiment from the Around the Bend stamp set. And I will do a little die cut quick with the circle die from the All That Dies. So, hey, Joe, thanks for hopping in from South Dakota. Make multiples of your cards. Do you demo, or I usually just do one. It depends. I mean, if it's something that I need to make multiples of, I will, but usually I just make one. And then sometimes I'll make an extra one, here obviously live on a video. So, all right, so I have got, this is from the All That Dies. And again, these are in the current annual catalog, and they are going to be in the next annual catalog. So this die set will be around, so you can grab it whenever you're ready. And I'm just going to run this through the die cutting machine, so I'll be right back. What I love about this die set in particular is that most of the banner type or sentiment type dies put a little extra score line on it. So hopefully you can see that here in the video, but it adds a little score line around the edge, which I love that look. It kind of, to me, gives it a little bit more of a finished look. Then I'm going to take that and stick it here on my card front with some Stampin' Dimensionals. And as you may have noticed, it kind of overhangs the greenery part. So you want to be a little aware when you're putting your Stampin' Dimensionals on it, not to put them over on the right-hand side of your circle. So you want to definitely make sure they're a little bit towards the left as you're putting your Stampin' Dimensionals on there, or whatever adhesive you choose to use. So, all right, let me just kind of, I'll stick a few. I want to make sure that I'm putting it on the right side and putting them so that they're not hopefully going to be sticking my card closed, because that would be very unfortunate. So, oh, thanks, Jeannie. I appreciate that. It definitely is a good die set for general use. It's got lots of good sizes for sentiments and that sort of thing in it. So, all right, so there we go. Stuck that down with my Stampin' Dimensionals, and thankfully didn't misstick any, so I didn't stick my card shut. And then I'm going to grab these die cuts I did ahead of time, but again, I just used the dies from the Around the Bend dies. So this is the larger flower center, the two little pieces of greenery that I die cut with these dies, and then the two sets of flowers. I cut one from Crushed Curry and one from Basic White with this little die set. Or yeah, this little set, I guess, of flowers in the dies. So pretty easy and pretty basic die cutting, and hopefully I haven't lost track of any of the die cuts between when I cut them and, you know, when I'm doing this here. So as you can hopefully see on the video again, the larger flower does cut and emboss, and so you can kind of see there's the oval in the center for well, hopefully you can see it. I know I can see it on the video. I don't know how well it shows up. So, but there's a little oval that you can kind of see in here where you're going to stick your flower center at, and I'm just going to grab some glue dots and we'll put that together. All right. Take that and adhere it to the middle of my little die cut flower. And then I'm going to add another glue dot here underneath the back of it, and I'm going to stick it on. I think we'll stick it. Did I put the glue dot in the wrong spot? Yes. Ooh, come on. Come on, glue dot, come back. There we go. All right, we'll try that again because I put the glue dot totally in the wrong spot with the way I wanted it situated on here. So I want to make sure that it's up a little bit more towards the top and not on the side, because I want it to stick to the sentiment. And then I'm going to take a dimensional and stick it underneath my flower to kind of keep it up and off. Actually, you know what I really need to do first? I knew there was a reason why I didn't start with the flower. What I need to do is tuck the little greenery pieces underneath so that I don't end up with that at the very end and then not be able to put them on here. So greenery was cut again from Garden Green cardstock. So pretty easy and pretty basic. Let me tuck this one in up here, and then this other one in down near the bottom. I'm going to put it underneath my flower before I stuff the dimensional on top of it, so that, there we go, we can have it stuck to the card front where I want it and not have to wiggle it around a dimensional, because that would have been a little more challenging. Then I'm going to hopefully get the backing peeled off this dimensional. There we go. Fingers are working kind of today. And going to grab my scissors, and that's kind of how I jam stuff underneath, is I peel off the backings, both sides, jam it underneath with my scissors, smoosh down on top of it, and then pull the scissors out, and then you have a dimensional stuck in a spot where you wouldn't easily be able to get one stuck. All right, going to take a little liquid glue, and we'll start sticking some of the other flowers around the card front. These have got the little holes in the center, so glue dots, if you were going to cover up the center of it, you could definitely use glue dots with it. But because I wasn't going to cover up the holes in the center, I didn't necessarily want glue dots stuck on everything. We'll grab the larger white one here. And again, these are all cut from that same, with that same die set from the Around the Bend dies, and just cut from Basic White and Crushed Curry cardstock. So take that and hold it for a second. And then I'll take the smaller of the Crushed Curry flowers. And this one I didn't run through the die cutting machine all sorts of crazy. That's how it cuts. It's like it, I don't know, part of it is a little smaller than the other. And I don't know if it's supposed to look like it's right side down, right side down, right side up, upside down. So that came out all smooshed together. All right. We're just going to stick that one over the top of the basic white flower. And then we will tuck in the crushed curry flower. I think will be the next one. And I'll make sure that I cover up my glue dot that I stuck on there not so very nicely. I think we can take that flower and we'll kind of stick it over the top of that to cover up my glue dot mess. Because, yeah, I didn't place that glue dot very smartly. So, oh, I know the rectangles I was very sad about. So this is, I'm finding some new go-to stamp sets or die sets. So yes, the rectangles were they're still a little hard for me not to use frequently. And yeah, I'm having a moment, but that's okay. We have a couple more days with them and then they'll go away. So, all right, then I'll stick the final little basic white flower that I cut here on the card front. I'm going to take it and kind of tuck it underneath the sentiment. All right, and hold on to that for just a second to make sure it doesn't come flying back off. And then the last thing that I added was just a couple of the little brushed brass butterflies. So I picked one of the bigger ones and I stuck it on the sentiment. And then a couple of the littler ones, one of the littler ones, and then one of the larger ones stuck out here, kind of floating around the edges of the greenery. And that's it for the card. So, how easy was that? This, like I said, this is kind of my style of fun fold. This is about as difficult as it gets when it comes to fun folds and me. But yeah, I think it's kind of a cute little card. So it's got a little extra flap over here. And then if you wanted to, you could certainly add some more designer series paper on the inside of here. I didn't, I don't know. Like I said, I just thought trying to keep it simple, and because simple is kind of how I roll. So that's it. So just added a little piece of the Fresh as a Daisy designer series paper from the upcoming catalog, but otherwise all the rest of this is available now. Obviously, I guess my ink is not. My Pebbled Path ink is available from the upcoming catalog, but everything else you can get now. And like I said, if you want to get the bundle and get the bundle pricing, pick it up this weekend before the bundle pricing goes away. So, all right, so that's it for my card. So this is the one I made earlier. This is the one we made on screen today. I'm glad that you're liking it. I thought it turned out kind of cute. And all the details for this will be posted on my blog tomorrow, which is stampwithamyk.com. And I will link up to the instructions and a PDF tutorial and all that good stuff in the description of this video tomorrow once my blog post goes live. So that's all that I've got for you today. I will plan to be live around 2 o'clock Eastern time on Tuesday next week and again on Friday. So we will chat with you all then. Thanks for joining today. Have a wonderful weekend and talk to you all soon.